Welcome to Nextara TV. My name is Joseph. Today's video is Microsoft SharePoint 2010 SharePoint Administrator's Guide Lesson 5, Scheduling Backups. In this video, I'll be covering how to replace a tedious task with a shell script. First, we need the shell. So, the obvious choice for most people is going to be PowerShell. So we open up PowerShell, and the command we're going to be using is backup sp farm, SharePoint farm obviously. So first of all, we're going to try and get help, and luckily PowerShell gives us tab completion, something I've been waiting for in Windows for a while. And the command we want is backup sp farm. Now we type that in, hit enter, and it can't find it. Well, that's actually to be expected. That's because we actually need SharePoint's management shell. So rather than go into PowerShell, we'll go back to Programs, SharePoint Products, and here's the SharePoint management shell. Pretty similar. It's just a PowerShell interface with the additional add-ons already put in. And here we can type get help backup for the SharePoint farm. You'll notice tab completion actually finds it. And here it gives us all of the details we want to know about this. You can read this at your leisure. The other thing that we will want out of this are the examples. This tells you just how to do your backup. Now, the command that we're actually going to execute will be to back this up in this fashion right here. Back it up to the directory, and we'll be using the Z drive that we used in one of our previous videos. And from here we'll be doing a backup method, full backup. Now this example says configuration only. We're going to leave that part off. So the command is going to come out looking like this: backup sp farm directory backups backup method full. Now before we actually do launch that, I will show you our Z drive. And we'll hit enter on that command. If you come over here, give it a second, and we will see it begin to populate. There's our new backup right there. Now, watch backup never completes, so we don't want to stare at this for a very long time. But this is also an only useful command as long as we're sitting in front of it to type this command. And quite frankly, I don't want to be the one getting up every Saturday night, logging over to remote desktop, signing in, and backing up SharePoint. So instead, we're going to use a computer for what it's meant to and take a tedious task and have it do it for us. Now, the way we're going to end up doing that is we're going to create a PowerShell script to do that. So we're going to need Notepad, and we're going to need the launch command and in PowerShell. So remember before how PowerShell didn't remember or didn't know how to use the SharePoint add-ons. So we're going to have to tell it, before it runs anything else, to add the PowerShell snap-in for Microsoft SharePoint PowerShell. So we'll add the PowerShell snap-in for Microsoft SharePoint PowerShell. And then we just execute the same command we entered at the actual command prompt. Backup sp farm directory, and where we want the output to go, into our backups directory, and then the backup method. Now we just have to save this. And we can tell it where we want it to go. Say all files, and we can put it right here. We'll make an extra little folder for our backup scripts, and then full farm backup, and we want it to be a PowerShell. Now that that's written, we can go up to our scripts directory. There's our full farm backup, which is our PowerShell script. And then, of course, so that we don't have to get up on Saturday to do this, I will schedule a task. Now we just need a basic task, so we'll actually kind of take the easy route and use the wizard. Give it a good name so that when you look at this later you know what you're talking about. We want to run weekly. Start now. Reoccur every 1 week on Saturday. And what time do we want it to run? All changes should be done by 2 a.m. on Saturday. Want to run a program. And that program, of course, will be the script we created. There's no additional arguments. We can just hit next. Look at all of that. Looks like what we want, but we do have one further tweak, so we'll tell it to open the properties of it when it's done. And that other tweak is right now it's set to run as administrator only when the user's logged on. Now, you probably have a backup system already in place. You'll want to change to that backup user ID that you're already using, and you want it to run whether you're there or not. The whole point is not having to wake up at 2 a.m. on Saturday to do this. Hit OK. It asks you to prove who you are. Tell us your password. And then if we check our library, there's our scheduled task for 2 a.m. every Saturday of every week. After that's run, you'll be able to come into Central Administration, put in your password, go to your backups. If you view your backup history, you'll see all the backups that have successfully run through your script. Thank you for joining Nextara TV for Microsoft SharePoint 2010 SharePoint Administrator's Guide Lesson 5, Scheduled Backups. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to visit www.nextara.tv for other tutorials, or to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube/Nextara. Or at nextara.tv, you'll find a wonderful forum which you can find and talk to all of us here at Nextara. Have a good day.